increased cost on all the American people. We need to do everything we can. There are a lot of people that are part of this solution in the room here today. Everything we can to ensure that this national energy tax, this cap and trade tax, what I like to call the Jobs for China bill, doesn't see the light of day. We need to make sure that our tax code rewards work, savings, and investment. The complicated code right now is just subject to all sorts of gaming by every lobbyist known to man, and it's very inefficient. So I support tax simplification as well as reducing tax rates through either a national consumption tax, like the fair tax, or some sort of flat tax. Anything would be better than the current system. Let me get back to the debt, though, because I've already indicated that debt equals future taxes. I will do everything in my power. I'll spend every waking hour as a member of Congress, should I earn your trust and support, ensuring that we reform the earmarking process, ensuring that we take a look at every failing federal program, consolidate the 150-plus economic development programs at the federal level, and maybe even eliminate some departments altogether. We did just fine without a Department of Energy developed in the 70s, folks. We could move some of the functions of that agency into other agencies. Every family in America, every business in America is setting priorities right now. Congress needs to set priorities too. We talk numbers very quickly because I know I don't have a lot of time here, and this is our single debate. Mike, you supported $1.12 trillion addition to our national debt during your 2 years in Congress. That equates to future taxes of $14,500 for every family of four in America. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot afford to let this happen again. If you sent me to Congress and I did that, I would invite you to send me home. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
To create jobs, we must cut the size and scope of the federal government. We can't start talking about jobs until we start talking about the out-of-control spending in Washington. Big government has destroyed our economy. The problem with Washington is that politicians think they know best how to spend our money better than we do. Every dollar that goes to Washington is a dollar that goes towards waste, corruption, and special interest. But every dollar that's left in the hands of the American people goes towards production, opportunity, and prosperity. The government is simply too big for us to have a real growing economy. The problem with jobs is that we, the people, have let the politicians and special interests in Washington run our economy. No more. I will fight to get our economy back on the right track by cutting federal spending back to 2002 levels and balancing the budget. Is there anyone here who didn't think that our government was too big and too intrusive back in 2002? We wasted hundreds of billions of dollars on waste, fraud, and abuse even back then. And unfortunately, since, we have now more than doubled our federal budget. We must cut federal spending back to 2002 levels and balance the budget. This will end the recession and restore accountability in how the politicians spend the people's money. Either we cut jobs or we cut spending. We, the American people, must make the choice. Either we keep electing politicians who will continue to destroy American jobs, or we start electing true conservative leaders who will fight to cut federal spending.
Mr. Sothern, would you like to question again, sir?
No, they have 3 minutes.
You have 3 minutes.
I'll use part of my 3 minutes. You know, I expect my Democrat opponent to act like one. I didn't expect a Republican to act like one. I have never advocated a mandatory Massachusetts-style health insurance program anytime, anywhere, any place. To say so is a complete distortion of anything that I might have said sometime. Would also point out, and you're welcome to check the record, the deficit declined both years that I served in Congress. Was it balanced? No, but it declined both years. Now, as far as what we do with the economy, it's not rocket science, folks. We need more taxpayers and fewer tax users. Employed people pay taxes. Unemployed people use taxes. I said in the last campaign, and I'll say it again, we need to drill here and drill now. We need to be using American oil. We need to be using American natural gas. We need to be using American coal with clean coal technology. That creates jobs here in the United States. It keeps dollars here in the United States. We spend billions with people in the Middle East that don't like us very well, and some of them want to kill us. This is not good foreign policy or economic policy. So that's number one. Number two, we need to lower and simplify taxes. The tax code is entirely too complex and too unfair. We need to lower taxes if we're going to stimulate economic activity in the United States. We also need to eliminate any regulations that don't have to do with health and safety of the populace. We fill out, God knows how many forms, that just asking for information. We have so many regulations we have to comply with that don't do any good as far as the health and safety of the citizens of the United States. So any useless regulations we need to get rid of. You know, when I was looking at what America used to be able to accomplish and what we do today, President Eisenhower signed an act that created the interstate highway system in 1956. In 24 years, we built 40,000 miles of interstate. 24 years, 40,000 miles. 24 years ago, we started trying to build another bridge across the Ohio River. Now we can't build one bridge over one river in 24 years. Thank you.
You can have a little more time if you'd like to, since you had an opportunity to rebut what was said earlier.
I just want to say, it's not that Americans have lost the work ethic. It's not that we've lost our creativity. It's not that we have lost our will and our drive. That we are so smothered in red tape, so smothered in bureaucrats. There's always one to tell you why you can't do something, why you shouldn't do something, and why you're not going to do it the way you thought you were going to do it. That keeps slowing the process down. I think if we turn Americans loose, we can be as productive as anybody on the planet, and we can compete with anybody on the planet.
Okay, Mr. Young, it is reported that the number of illegal immigrants in the United States is somewhere between 12 and 20 million people. What do you propose to do about the challenge of illegal immigration on the economic condition of America?
Well, it's hitting our economy quite hard, even during this down economy when we have fewer people coming over our southern border. We need to get control over our southern border in particular, but really all of our borders, the border with Canada as well. During this age of terrorism, this is a national security issue, not just an economic issue. But I would favor extending defensing on our southern border further. Well aware of the counter-argument that if you build a 20-foot fence, somebody's going to develop a 21-foot step ladder. It still does serve as a deterrent. Also, I would use unmanned aerial vehicles. I spent a decade in the military. Much of that was spent working with UAVs. These are remotely piloted aircraft that allow U.S. Marines, in my case, to monitor hundreds, even thousands of miles fairly cost-effectively. So that's another investment we can make to ensure that the borders are being secured. The final thing I'd say is something that seems to be neglected in the debate too often. Is approximately half of our illegal population. As of 2005, the number was about 11.5 million illegals in this country. Half